Hello, everybody, and welcome to Comic Book Gentlemen, your podcast where we. Wait, how do I start this again? It's been so
We
long.
use our decades of comic book experience and nerddom.
Yeah, to debate the most divisive issues in comic books. There we go. I got it.
Yes,
I got it
there we go.
eventually. New year, new me. So I'm Greg, your host, and I'm joined by my constant co-host Dave. Say hi, Dave.
Hey, how's everybody?
Yeah, you're the only reason we can get through this, Dave.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
So Dave, there's a little known comic. I don't know if you've ever heard of
Uh-huh.
it. I'm gonna throw this one out there. It's called
Okay.
X-Men, I believe it's called.
Nope.
No, never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, never heard of it. So the crazy thing about X-Men, which people may not have heard, really recent news and whatnot. Apparently, Marvel has no idea what they're doing. So now they're getting
Yeah.
readers to choose the team for them.
Yeah. Which is, it's nice to have input. But I mean, we kind of thought, well, why start with one person?
Yeah, exactly.
Let us pick the whole team.
Let's pick the whole team. So yeah, it's kind of so like unfortunately we missed the deadline for listeners out there, but X-Men allowed us lowly people
Yes.
to vote on somebody to be a part of the mainstay X-Men team. And it's actually pretty crazy to think we actually haven't had a
Yeah.
mainstay X-Men team for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
It's a little bit crazy there. But
A,
did you
a
get a
lot
chance?
of a lot of fluctuation and a lot of weird stuff going on.
Yeah, all the House of Ten, Powers of X stuff really threw
Yeah.
things for a loop. So they're finally getting the band back together. Did you get a chance to look at like kind of who they had as options for the main X-Men team?
Yes, for the voting.
Yeah, for the voting.
Yeah, I did. Was familiar with them all,
Nice.
and cast my vote.
Who'd
And
you? So I'll
hopefully it'll pan out.
yeah. If they don't, then we riot.
Yeah, then I just won't collect the comic.
Yeah, exactly. You're dead to me.
Oh, who are we kidding? I'll collect the comic.
No matter they could literally switch X-Men to DC and you'll probably still collect the comic. Let's be
Yeah,
real.
probably.
Yeah. So yeah, we thought it'd be a great time since Marvel's assembling an X-Men team to kind of do what we did with the Avengers, where we're gonna kind of cherry pick who we think would be the perfect X-Men team. However, Dave's a huge fan of the whole mutant dumb, so he couldn't just stop at one.
Yeah. No,
No,
not one,
not one,
not two,
not two.
but three.
We're giving you 3 X-Men teams.
And
Mutant
only
teams.
because Greg made me have a limit.
Yeah, I know. We would have had every single team listed, but I told them
Yeah.
we can only fit 3. So maybe in the future, if everybody likes this podcast, we'll do a couple more. But the 3 we're gonna do, we're gonna do the main X-Men team because you gotta. We're gonna do X-Force because X-Force is dope and you can't say no. And then we're actually for a third one, we're gonna do X-Factor, which maybe some people may not know about, but we're definitely gonna try our hand at X-Factor. Even I don't think I've ever read an X-Factor comic, to be honest with
Oh,
you.
you're missing out.
I'm missing out, so we'll see if we can convince us. So let's start the way we did our Avengers podcast. For people who haven't, you should go back and check it out. It was a great time. We kind of did one at a time. You threw out a superhero, I threw out a superhero, and we kind of went back and forth. But since we're doing 3 teams, let's do one whole team. I'll tell you why you're wrong, and then I'll do a whole team. You tell me why I'm wrong, and then we'll go from there. So why don't you start us off, Dave? Give us your X Factor team
X Factor.
and kind of your thought
Okay.
process for choosing all these people.
So my thought process on X Factor was I always thought of X Factor as the X Factor. What's the thing that you don't know whether it's going to work out or not. You hope it's the X Factor in your case to help you attain or get to the end goal. But it's chaos. You don't know. You just don't know. So I thought I'm going to go through and I'm going to find some X-Men that just really either don't have it all together, their powers are out of control, or just completely random with what they do. So without further ado, my X Factor team is a mutant by the name of Gentle.
Gentle?
Yes.
Okay.
Followed by Legion,
Oh yeah.
X-Man.
Nate Gray?
Yes, Nate Gray. I went deep on this.
Oh jeez.
Multiple Man,
Nice.
Surge,
Yep.
And just because all these people need a little bit of help, they need somebody that's been through the trials of having powers that they can't really control and dealing with all that. The leader, or de facto kind of mentor of the group, if you will, is Rogue.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay, this is a very hodgepodge group.
Oh, it is.
Oh my gosh. So what was your thought process? You kind of just were like, who's the most random people I can throw on here? And let's
Very
go.
random, but so if there's a theme here. So if you take a look at a character like Gentle, so Gentle can basically can grow in size and strength, almost unlimited.
Oh, really?
Has been they've tracked his strength up to, he could get to the point where he could lift 100 tons.
Jeez.
Could go toe to toe with the Hulk because he can just keep getting stronger. However, the longer he stays at that strength level and the stronger he gets, the more likely he will get a debilitating seizure.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so kind of a
again, you don't know. We're
Yeah.
hoping we're hoping he doesn't go down.
yeah.
But if he doesn't, woo!
Oh yeah, he's
We're gonna
gonna
reap the
he's
benefits
gonna
of this.
launch the Hulk to the moon and then just pass out. You know?
And then pass out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Legion is Legion.
Yeah.
Completely unpredictable. Multiple personalities, all kinds of crazy stuff that goes on with this guy. So like every day you would not know what you got,
Yeah.
what you were getting. X-Men, as far as powers are concerned, stable. As far as his mental capacity, stable.
Yeah.
Interesting character from a different timeline. Age of Apocalypse, love the character, but his powers are killing him.
Yeah.
So you never know. You never know. He might use his powers one too many times, just fall over dead.
Yeah.
So again, very random. Multiple Man, obviously, great character. If he keeps it under control and he has 2 or 3 multiples, it's okay. But as he has more and more and more and more multiples, he has less and less control of coordinating everybody, and each one has just an aspect of his own personality. So they may get to the point where they don't even necessarily get along. So again, very random.
You're just on a mission and he's fighting with himself. No big deal.
Yes, you never know. Surge.
Yeah.
So Surge is a character that basically absorbs every form of electricity you can think of. Static electricity, stick her hand in a socket, suck the electricity, lightning, whatever it is, sucks it right out of the air, has no control over whether she's doing it or not.
Yeah.
So she just taking it all in. She has to wear some gloves to keep herself under control.
Mm-hmm.
But if she absorbs too much, now she talks too fast. You can't understand her.
Yeah.
Now she's just out of control.
Yeah.
Again, that was the theme. Out of control. Rogue is the one that, at the end of the day, like anybody that read the comics in the 80s and the 90s and really saw Rogue grow up, there were large portions of her X-Men career where she just didn't have any control over what she was doing. One second she's just touching somebody, absorbing their powers.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, she's touching them, absorbing their powers, their memories. She becomes like them. Like she had her power fluctuation was just all over the map. So she's gotten now to the point where she's kind of got an understanding. I kind of got a hold on this. So that's why I chose her as the de facto leader kind of thing, is to say, hey, you know what? All you troublesome members of this team, there's hope.
Yeah.
There's hope.
It's possible.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, to me, this seems like the team where all of them were like, hey, can we join the X-Men? And then everybody's like, why don't you go in the corner and we'll call you?
Yeah.
Like, it literally feels like they just took all the trouble kids and put them in their own classroom and we're like, we'll let you know.
With this is they're not so much trouble kids in the sense of like a Kid Omega or something that's just got an attitude problem.
Yeah.
They're trouble because they either don't have control over their powers, or there's like a major flaw to them using their powers.
Yeah. Yeah. Their powers
That's
are literally
why
their weakness.
they are the X factor.
Oh, yeah. They're the ones you whip out when it's last
Yeah,
bottom of the
yeah.
ninth.
Like either we lose and we all die, or we send these guys out, maybe win, or just all die.
So what type of missions do you see them like? Just that's it. Like we're gonna hold you guys in a corner. The second apocalypse goes nuts, we'll call you. That's the only thing they're doing, or do you have them doing anything else?
No, basically they're just like the main X-Men team or X-Force or somebody. They're having a tough go. All hell's breaking loose. I would only expect to see X Factor during like a special event. When the world is just in absolute peril, and they're like, man, we have no choice but to turn to this group of degenerates over here that just have no control over the powers, and just let them go and just cross our fingers.
Did you ever read the storyline, and I can't remember what it's called, where it wasn't like House of X, where like the mutants were 100% in control of the world, but it was another storyline where again the mutants were kind of the mainstay of the world, and then it turned out it was all just in Legion's head. But then during that storyline, Legion thought he was the greatest person of all time.
Yeah.
This is like, I think this is what's happening is Legion again just like, guys, we're amazing. Let's all join together.
Unfortunately, all the kids that got sent to the corner, that's the corner Legion was sitting in.
Yeah.
And he just said, hey, we're the main team, guys.
This is us, man.
This is us. We got this.
We're the A string. We got this. This is great. I love this team. I wouldn't read this comic to see them do well. I'd read them to actually fail so hard.
No, I would read this comic just to see them they have victory in their grasp, and then one of these people have an issue.
Yeah. Or it'd be one of those things where it's like they suck so much, but that they'll just stumble upon a victory, happens that Legion one-shot somebody.
Yeah, just completely random. I had a lot of fun putting this team together because I was like, I don't want to go in the direction that the comic book has gone. I was like, if you look up, how people use the term X Factor is always the X Factor. It's the factor that you can't predict.
Yeah.
You just kind of hope that comes through for you, and the day is won. So that's my X Factor.
Yeah, just close your eyes and pray. I went a very different direction than you. So like I said, I wasn't very familiar with X Factor. The only thing I really knew about X Factor was at one point it was an investigation service, X Factor, about in 2005. So that was the only thing I was basing it off of. I was like, okay, so these are the PI, drinking coffee all day, up all night type of thing, drinking whiskey type of situation.
Yeah, okay.
Who sometimes they have to find the missing kid. Other times they spy on the wife having an affair, type of situation. So that's kind of what I was picturing for X Factor. Very different than what you were thinking. So I definitely aimed my team towards that direction. So in my head I was like, okay, so who's kind of has experience / power sets that were really good for tracking. And I also, in all my teams, I had 4 things actually roles that I always had, and then I had a couple extra for some of them. So I always had a leader, I always have a teleporter, I always have a telepath, and I always have muscle, because I feel like those 4 roles are just so good that you kind of have to have them in every team you have. So for X Factor, my leader is X-23. My teleporter is Blink, which I don't know if she's technically counts because she's an alternate reality mutant, but I think it works. For my telepath, I have Cable, which is kind of iffy because Cable has a million different powers, and who actually knows what his powers is. I'm pretty sure he's been a telepath at one point, so that's the one I'm aiming for.
Yeah.
For my muscle, I have Warpath. And then as kind of my extra person that has some crime investigation stuff, I have Bishop.
Okay.
So like I said, I was kind of aiming towards morally gray people. They've done bad things, they've done good things, but they're trying to be good. And then they're kind of good at tracking down people. So X-23, I've actually been a big fan of before House of X Powers of 10 when she took over the Wolverine mantle.
Yeah.
and she kind of like came into her own, and she was dealing with all of her clones and whatnot, and she actually kind of had leadership qualities, and she's always had that morally gray area where she like is trained to kill, but then Wolverine's trying to teach her to be good and not kill. So I feel like she'd actually be a pretty good leader for this group because she's grown into that position a lot. She has a lot of experience with X-Men, and her power set is so good at tracking anyways. I mean, she's hard to kill, all that stuff. For teleporter, I have Blink because I thought, again, you have to have a teleporter. It's so useful. And then Blink, like I said, is kind of always just one of those floater mutants. Kind of right in the middle there, and she'll go along with everybody, kind of help out. Again, Cable is, he does everything, right? Like I don't even know which Cable I'm thinking in my head. Like I'm picturing the like physically I'm picturing the one from Deadpool 2, but I'm definitely not like set on that guy because he's kind of an asshole. But he wears a fanny pack, so of course he's an asshole. But but like again, Cable's kind of one of those like morally gray people. He has a good power set, and he's done this type of stuff before. Warpath, he's a really good muscle guy, but I thought he was kind of like, he has some tracking ability, and especially his time on X-Force, he developed that a lot. And then he's strong, so it's good to have one of those. And then I threw Bishop in there because I remember I actually really like Grant Morrison X-Men. Even though it ended batshit crazy and didn't make any sense at the end, there was a point in the comic where somebody gets murdered, and then they bring in Bishop to kind of figure it out. So in my head, I'm like, okay, Bishop's he's actually done investigations and whatnot. So this is kind of like, again, my direction was investigations. This is kind of the team I made for that.
Okay. I love Blink. Yeah. I was trying to find in one of these teams. I was like trying to find a place to cram Blink.
Yeah, because she's so cool.
Very cool character. Yeah. Very cool character. Like the character. I had in a similar format. I had the whole Bishop Cable thing, but then I couldn't get over the fact that like Bishop and Cable got some really bad history.
That's true.
Bishop was trying to kill Cable.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Bishop was also possessed at the time, so that might, maybe they get over it. But that was what got me separating the two and going, I just can't put them together as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't put them together. But I like the Blink. I tried so hard to find somewhere where I felt she fit.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't. I like the X Factor idea. If my team wasn't so nuts, Blink would be, I think, an excellent X Factor member.
Although it'd be pretty funny to have such a crazy team, and then just have Blink going, wait, where are we going?
Yeah, what are we doing?
You want me to teleport you where? Like, what the heck? I didn't think about the Cable Bishop thing. I said in my head, Cable's like, there's like 50 versions of Cable. I'm sure there's one that Bishop's okay with. Let's slot that guy in there.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Let's go with that.
So let's move on to a little bit darker. This is our go out there and murder people team. What do you have for X-Force?
X-Force. I kind of danced around with this one a little bit, back and forth, trying to figure out the right mix. And I decided to go with characters that either had been not exactly on the good side at one point or another. So they may have been an X-Men, but they also may have been a part of the Acolytes or the Marauders or something. But definitely had been an X-Men. Or they were characters that had made morally ambiguous kind of... I'm not really sure that was the right decision, but they think that was the right decision. So they made it, and it didn't always go in line with what the rest of the X-Men were thinking. So I thought that's the team, and they had to have some kind of, they had to have that, but they also had to have hopefully some kind of like military background.
Yeah.
Because this is the team that I thought, okay, I'm going to put this team together. This is the team that goes in and kills the bad guy. Not like, okay, we're going to knock him down and stop him from robbing the bank. No, we're going to kill him.
Like, this is SEAL Team
End
6
this
here.
threat. The threat is too big. Got to get rid of him. So the leader of the group, or at least the ground leader of the group, would be Cable.
Nice.
Of course. Right? Strategy, he's certainly... he would shoot any one of the rest of the members of this team at any time. if that's what he thought needed to be done. So I went with Cable. As far as somebody with some brains, because you can't just have a bunch of violent freaks on a team. I decided, okay, they need somebody with some skills, and I decided it was going to be Sage.
Nice.
So computer brain Sage.
Yeah.
Because one of her powers is also to understand, like she can unlock the mutant gene, but she can also understand how a person's powers work. So not only could she, hopefully mold this group of violent heroes, but she could also, we're going to go take out this guy. This is his power set, and this is how it works.
That's cool.
So the best way to nullify it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
real quick.
I gotta have some kind of a violent stabby guy. And initially I was thinking Wolverine, and then I thought, who better to have on this team than Daken?
Yes. Dark.
I thought, no, I'm not putting Wolverine on this team. Daken.
Yeah, that's cool.
Daken. So I put Daken on there. For the muscle, I went with Frenzy, who when she discovered her powers, she was being abused by her father, kind of beaten by her father, who was a little bit of a drunk, and she put her fist through his chest.
Jeez.
Yeah. So started off real dark.
Yeah.
and she's got immunity and she's got super strength. I went for a teleporter. I went with Magic.
Yeah.
Thought, you know what? She's been on both sides. She's definitely made some questionable decisions sometimes. I like it. Plus, she also has that element of sorcery in there too. So good stuff. The leader of the group, not necessarily the ground leader, but the leader of the group would be Havoc.
Oh, really? Okay.
Been a bad guy, been a good guy, been all over the place. He's done all kinds of things. Always living in the shadow of, Cyclops.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of Havoc. I had to find somewhere for him, and I was like, yeah, you're the when you're sitting around the coffee table with this team, he's the leader.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought somebody that could really help out with, whether it was weapons or whatever, was Forge. I had to bring Forge in there.
Forge is
so
cool.
That's my entire X-Force team.
That's cool. So a few questions. So for Sage, does her powers work on non-mutants or just mutants?
Just mutants.
Just mutants. Okay, so this is definitely going to be a mutant hit squad type of situation. And then my thing about Forge, go back to Sage. I actually think that's really cool. I didn't even think to have that where it's like, okay, let's figure out who the hell we're killing here, because I feel like that's such an underrated power when you're going against other mutants. Like
she's like quite a cool character.
Mm-hmm,
she's got a computer for brain, so she remembers everything. She's just got a cool power set. Is she gonna be able to one punch Apocalypse? No.
Yeah.
She's kind of useless when it comes to that side, but the rest of her power set, awesome.
Yeah, really cool. And then for me, the other one was Forge. I really love Forge. I think his power again is very underrated. Being able just to invent whatever the hell he wants is absolutely broken. But to me, I would never actually take him out in the field though. I would definitely just have him on Krakoa and just be like, hey, X Factor needs this, X Force needs this. Make that up real quick type of situation.
Yeah, I looked at the pairing of him and Sage. Sage breaks it down. He can make something that helps the rest of the team do whatever horrible thing they're going to do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she can go like, hey, this mutant's weak to this, and he can whip out a flamethrower or something.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool. This is actually a really cool team. I like. Do you think Daken and Cable would get along well?
I don't think Daken gets along with anybody.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked his. I like the pheromone control. I like the little nuances to his own character, other than I have claws and I can heal. He has this other stuff, and he's, certainly got the prowess to fight. Obviously.
Yeah.
But he has some interesting character backgrounds as far as espionage, that kind of stuff that really make him fit into the team.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he's going to get along with everybody, no.
Yeah.
No.
It definitely, like, you definitely really have that whole, like, Shadow X-Men feel to it. Like, you know, you have all those characters that are similar to, like, the mainstay X-Men, but they're, like, you know, one step closer to the Shadows type of situation, like Havoc compared to Cyclops and Daken compared to Wolverine and, like, those type of situations. It's really cool. I like your team a lot. So for my team, again, like you're saying, this is supposed to be like SEAL Team 6. You know, we get in, we get out, we kill people if we have to. You can't have any qualms about it. So for my team, that's kind of where I aimed it towards. Again, I had to have a leader, teleporter, telepath, muscle, and then a couple extra people to throw in the mix. So my leader, I had to do Wolverine. I mean, if you read Rick Remender X-Force, I think he's just proven time and again this is exactly the role he's meant for. He's not like when I say like morally, like when I say they're willing to kill, they're not willing to kill just willy-nilly. They're willing to kill for a cause, and that's like I feel like Wolverine, you know, really that anti-hero feel to it, and Wolverine has proven that time again that he really aims for that. And I mean, he's so indestructible. It's so useful in this type of situation. And you have the tracking capability. For my teleporter, I have Nightcrawler. I feel like there's been scenarios where Nightcrawler has kind of had that killer instinct, especially if you look at recent Nightcrawler where it was actually Age of Apocalypse Nightcrawler that came over. And you have him with his, you know, his pirate sword saber and whatnot, and like him just being able to teleport around and you know help his teammates while also, you know, killing people while he's at it. You know, no problem with that. For my telepath, I actually have Kid Omega. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Grant Morrison X-Men. I think Kid Omega, especially when you look at like where he's come, like how far he's come when it comes to following the group. Like he's still an asshole, and he's still openly an asshole, but like he's actually, you know, he's worked with Wolverine before. He has enough respect for Wolverine at this point that he's willing to work with Wolverine, and he's so morally ambivalent that he will still you know, he'll still make the kill if he has to, you know. I also like his power set. I mean, you have to have a telepath to communicate everybody, but he still has the telekinesis as well, so he can fight back even if he gets cornered by anybody. So yeah, I think Kid Omega, I mean, there's always the issue of him just doing his own fucking thing and not caring.
And he really doesn't get along with Wolverine.
Oh yeah, he does. He had the whole, like, when Wolverine had his own school, and him and Wolverine had, it's not like a buddy relationship. It's a love-hate. No. It's a love-hate relationship. That's what that's what I'm aiming for. It's like a working relationship. You know, he's willing to tell Wolverine to stuff it. You know, I like that. And then for my muscle, you got to have my boy Juggernaut in there. Like he's unstoppable. He'll kill anybody. He doesn't give a crap. You know, he just, you know, you show him a problem, he's just gonna run at it and he'll take it out. And I mean, now that you have Krakoa, where you have like that mix of villains and heroes, I feel like this is a perfect time to just shove him on a team and see how he interacts. I mean, obviously he's been on hero teams before, but I think this would be a good time to get on X-Force. I didn't have a healer because I was kind of like, you know, if they die, they die. It's okay. But for my extra people, I have Domino, because you could always use a little bit of good luck on a Black Ops mission, and she has so much training on Black Ops missions as well. Like, I mean, she's been on X-Force so many times. And then I actually have Magic as well. I agree with you that she is, like, you know, she has that. She's willing to kill if she has to. Her power set is super broken. Like, just knowing Magic is such a, you know, like I said in our Avengers breakdown, Magic is so everything that I mean, she'd be great at it. And then I think she'd be good on this type of team. Like, you still have her teleporter, the main teleporter, Nightcrawler, but then she can teleport as well and do like a mass teleportation type of situation.
Yeah. And originally when I was putting this together, I'd actually had Magic on the X Factor team.
Oh, really?
At one point, and I had Blink.
Oh yeah.
On X-Force.
Yeah.
But I agree with you on the Magic thing. It just kind of fit. Like, she just checked all the boxes. Teleporter, got a little bit of magic, broken power set. You know, like just you know, definitely willing to do the things that she feels needs to be done. Yeah. So you know, I like that. Kid Omega, I tried so hard to find somewhere to put that guy. Just because he's such an ass, he's such an entertaining character interacting with anybody. Yeah. Because he just like any team he's on, he thinks he's the guy. Yeah. He doesn't think he even needs a team. He's just a really, really, really fun character. Yeah. That unfortunately I just couldn't find the right place to put him
Mm-hmm.
with what I was trying to go for.
Yeah.
But I really like the pick. He's certainly somebody that would do whatever he thinks is right.
Yeah. Like
So
he was definitely my
I like
hardest.
that.
That was definitely one I was very like. He's my most like wild card in this group, where it's like
Yeah.
he can go either way. But I couldn't think of any other telepath that would really fit into the X Force field, other than maybe
No.
like oh, I can't remember her name now. With a
Emma
with the
Frost.
no, with the one with the blade, Psylocke. But I think
Psylocke,
Psylocke
yeah.
is just telekinesis, isn't she?
Yeah. No, she does have. She does have. She's been on this team before.
Yeah.
For exactly that reason. She can link everybody up as far as a silent telephone
Yeah.
between everybody.
Yeah.
But with mine, I kept of course, being a comic book junkie and looking at some of these teams, and I kept drifting back to X-Force got to have Wolverine on it. It's got to have this feel, and I was like. I really forced myself to outside of my comfort zone, because my X-Men team, you're gonna go, oh my god, wow, how blasé.
Oh, really?
Because my other teams, I was like, no, I really have to just stretch on these, and just put some characters in there that let's feel them out, see what happens. But you're absolutely right. Like Wolverine, the series of the X-Force where he was leading that team, that was probably, between the art and the writing and where that story went, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome, and he was a big part of that. It was great, great leader.
Yeah. Yeah, Psylocke, I just feel like is so overplayed at this point, and where she's at with because she got split in between Braddock and her other persona, I think, in Hoxpox right now. So I was just kind of like, I'm just, like, even though her telekinesis blade is really cool, it's just kind of really random. So I thought Kid Omega would be a fun.
No, Kid Omega is a great character. Like that's as far as Grant Morrison is concerned, that was top notch. Like probably his best character.
I like the Bird Boy. Beak. I love Beak. He sucks, but he's great. I love Beak. I'll put Kid Omega as number 2, but I love Beak. I can't say no to him. I don't have him on any of my teams because he sucks, but I love that character.
Cool.
But yeah, so let's any other last thoughts on my team?
No, I like it. Like I said, it checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
Like the one area that I missed on mine was the telepath.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I thought, whatever. They're gonna go in there and kill whatever they are, and if they die, they die.
Yeah.
It was, but that was that's the one area that I did miss, and I bounced back and forth with trying to put Kid Omega in there, or maybe put him in the X-Men, and then I kept bouncing around, and then I was like. I didn't settle on him for whatever reason. I second guessed myself.
I mean, like I said, he's a wild card, man. Like he could just say "F it, I'm out of here" and just just leave everybody.
Or it's like, okay, we got to capture this guy, and he'll just go, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah,
it's a good time. Let's get to the big boys then. Let's hear your Vanilla Ice Cream X-Men. What were you?
My Vanilla Ice Cream X-Men. I am a huge fan of 3 of these characters together on a team, because it just harkens back to every X-Men comic book I read as a kid. And that is Wolverine, Colossus, and Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
I just had to have them on the same team. I love the dynamics. They're good friends. They work well together. They respect as much as I was like, I gotta have Cyclops on this team. I thought, no, do you know what? The original X-Men, they're all fired.
Yeah, get them out of here.
I'm not putting an original X-Men on the team. Just to, again, try to come up with something a little different. Yeah. So I thought, who do they respect as a leader? Who does Wolverine, Colossus, Nightcrawler, who do they respect as a leader? I was like, Storm.
Yeah.
Hands down, Storm. Great power set, good leader. Checked all the boxes there. And then I thought, okay, I got to put some different people, some other people got to graduate. This team's getting a little long in the tooth. You gotta get some new blood in here.
Yeah.
So I went with as the psychic, the one with telekinesis, the one with all the mind tricks. I went with Prestige.
Oh yeah, nice.
So I thought it's kind of Jean Grey light.
Yeah,
but
just a little bit.
but I like her. I like her character. I always did. I liked her as far back, Rachel Summers, as far back as the original Excalibur group, when she was the Phoenix. From a different timeline. I've always had a soft spot for her, so I picked her. Somebody with an interesting power set that I just don't see enough of, which I'm glad she's in the X Factor comic right now, is Polaris.
Okay.
I thought I want a Magneto that's not a Magneto.
Yeah.
So I went with Polaris again. Great power set, can be offensive at the same time, can be very defensive.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of checks some boxes in that area. And then, somebody that I thought, okay, got to have somebody that graduated up from, from the ranks of, New Mutants or the X-Force teams of the past, and I went with Sunspot.
Okay, yeah. New Mutants.
And that is my X-Men team.
Yeah, like you said, started off very vanilla.
Yeah.
It's basically just Chris Claremont
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a good team. You can't say no.
It was.
It was a damn good team. I do like your final couple picks there. I think it really adds in that extra flavor, like you were saying, the sprinkles on top. My questions I have for you. I'm not gonna lie. I think magnetism, like Polaris and Magneto, is the most dumb ability ever, considering how telekinesis exists.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, like the way they've always portrayed Magneto is always cool. He like stops bullets in midair, or he grabs everybody's guns and like crushes them, or he just throws Wolverine away. But like then you think about it, it's like anybody with telekinesis can do the exact same thing.
Yeah,
but they don't have.
What I liked about her was the fact that she has the electromagnetic spectrum manipulation.
Yeah,
she's got flight.
Yeah,
she's partially resistant to ionizing radiation, and she has telekinesis.
Oh, she does? Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was just
so
magnetism.
that was a bit of a clincher. I was like, I don't want just like a female Magneto.
Yeah.
Instead of white hair, she's got green.
Yeah.
I was always kind of interested in her, mainly because she was, love interest for a while there with Havoc.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought that's just the power set, especially with being able to put up force fields, be able to, basically pack the whole team with her if she needed to.
Yeah.
I thought she fit a niche. And she was a different character. And I tried to mix it up so it wasn't, because I know the first couple times I went through, I was like, holy shit, it's like nothing but guys on this team, like testosterone overload.
Yeah.
So I specifically went, okay, if the team's 7, there's got to be at least, 3 males, 3 females, and go from there. Because I really actually enjoyed the X-Men comic they did a little while ago. It was all women.
Yeah.
Like all the female X-Men. It was a great comic. And really introduced you to some of these characters, and I've always been curious about her. Throw her on the X-Men. Let's see how she does.
Okay, so I'm glad she has additional powers, because that's my rant against Magneto. Is just like literally any telekinetic person can do what you do, but better. Like they can do other things as well. So I'm glad she has something else going on.
But you're forgetting his ultimate power. He's an asshole.
Yeah, he's ready. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a power set. Aside, biggest asshole.
Yeah, 100%. I'm very glad you did not have Cyclops on here. I would have roasted you so hard. I can't stand Cyclops, man. I don't. It's like my thing about Cyclops is like since day one they always tote him as the like strategic guy. Like he's the leader. He's gonna lead us and whatnot. He knows all the strategies. I've never seen Cyclops do anything strategic in my entire life.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I've ever seen him make a cool play or do something like interesting with powers.
If you read back, I would say some of the '90s comics, like when he was with the X-Men, then he left the X-Men to go with the X Factor. You would have seen that level of Cyclops, like the Cyclops that I know, is that one. The one that they had in the last little while that like died and came back and became the Phoenix Force and apparently juiced up on just being a big dick. I don't. That to me is they just kind of ruined him for me, because I really enjoyed. And the reason why I originally had him on the team is because I liked the dynamic between him and Wolverine.
Yeah.
I like the dynamic between Wolverine, Colossus, and Nightcrawler, and the fact that people like Colossus respected at one point back in the 90s, definitely respected Cyclops, and so did Nightcrawler. So you have this, like, hey, we like you, Wolverine, but will you stop picking on Cyclops? And Cyclops and Wolverine always going at it, and it was just like always an interesting dynamic to me that I always really enjoyed.
Yeah. I also like the fact that you did Prestige instead of Jean Grey. Like I said in my Avengers thing, just give Jean Grey a break. Just let her sleep, let her die, whatever. So isn't Prestige though? You have to tell me because I don't think I ever actually know which is. Isn't she the Goblin Queen or something like that?
No. So Prestige is Rachel Summers.
Okay.
Who is basically a daughter of Cyclops and Jean Grey, but from a different time.
Okay.
And so she basically came back, and she was in the X-Men comics for a bit before becoming like a founding member of Excalibur.
Okay.
But she had the same thing. She had the Phoenix Force.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So she has some punch to her.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember the name of the. She was like the timeline that she was from. A lot of the mutants were hunted down, and she was actually used as one of these, almost like a hunting dog.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
To go hunt down other mutants,
and
she escaped that. She's just an interesting character that I was like, to your point, I don't want to go vanilla Jean Grey.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I banished all of the original as much as I like Beast and some of the other guys. I just said, no, you're all banished. It's time to move on. And then still went with some old mainstay X-Men anyways.
I mean, you can't, like, some of them are just made for X-Men, right? That's just their bread and butter. My only last nitpick I have for you is Wolverine. Like, I just feel like Wolverine's made for X-Force, and I understand why they have him on the X-Men team, because he's Wolverine, man. Like, he's cool. But I always felt like he never really fit in, Like, he never really was supposed to be a full-fledged X-Men. He was always supposed to be that X-Force type of guy.
See, and I thought about that because originally, again, I had him on. I thought, X-Force, that's his thing, and then I thought, but Daken is such a worse Wolverine.
Yeah, that's true.
like he's such that guy would stab anybody on that team.
Yeah, 100%.
And just because.
Yeah, he was bored.
No real reason.
Yeah.
So that's why I went with that, and I thought like every team needs that person that will go. Okay, this just has to be done. And you're not going to get that out of Nightcrawler or Colossus or Storm or some of these other characters. You're definitely going to get that out of Wolverine.
That's true.
He won't feel good about it later on, but he'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you need somebody to pull that trigger, he's gonna be willing to do it.
Yeah,
and he'll take the brunt of it.
Yeah.
X-Men team. So mine. My thought process going into it, I was like, these are your poster children. These are the ones you're going to be sending to, like, not just to fight villains, but you're also going to send to, like, humanitarian aid. They're the ones that you're going to have, dealing with the Avengers, teaming up with the Avengers on global threats. So you kind of want to have, like, you want them to be, like, decent people, but then you also need them to have a variety of powers to be functional in a variety of situations. So for my leader, I agreed with you. I think Storm's a great X-Men leader. She just, she has that commanding presence. I mean, she was the queen of Wakanda at one point, so she has leadership ability. I think her power set, even though it may not be super practical in real life, I think is variety enough that it can be good for any situation. Like, if there's a drought in the savannah, she can come by and help out. If there's, like, a crazy tsunami, she can help out. She can still fight people by electrocuting them. Like, I think her power set is just so varied, and then she also has that leadership capability that she's a great leader for the mainstay X-Men. For my teleporter, I was trying to think of, there's only so many teleporters, even though it's a really good ability. I didn't really want to use Gate because I felt like Gate he's nothing. Like he's just a power. That's all he is.
He's the guy that stands outside the apartment and opens the door.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Or the guy in the elevator.
Exactly. So I already used Blink and Nightcrawler. So my teleporter actually used Pixie.
Okay, yeah.
So I thought
yeah.
Pixie, I mean, and then the other nice thing is that she also has that sorcery aspect to her, so she can help out with that. I mean, she can
like
fly, she has teleportation, she has, her little pixie dust and whatnot. I thought she was a really good teleporter option for this team, and she's a decent person, so it's not too bad. For telepath, this one I had to think about a lot. I actually ended up going with Emma Frost. So my thought process behind this, she's a great telepath, super powerful. The greatest weakness for most telepaths is if somebody gets on top of them, like a surprise attack or whatever, they're usually very vulnerable. So I thought Emma Frost would be a really good pick here because she can go full diamond and protect herself. So even though she's like, she's directing everybody, sending messages and whatnot, she can also then defend herself if she gets cornered or anything like that. I mean, obviously, she can't use her telepathy during her diamond form, which sucks. But I feel like it's still a useful ability to have. I also feel like she's a really good, even if she's not, especially nowadays, she's definitely leans more towards the morally good side. But I feel like she still has that like Hellfire Club spark to her that she could still talk back to Storm if she needed to. Like if she felt like Storm was making a bad decision, she could be the one to go like, no, I think you're wrong. This is what we should be doing. And she has a lot of that. If they need to like deal with any underworld people, she'd be a really good person to kind of be the talking point for them as well. Like she doesn't take shit from nobody. Emma Frost is great. She just gotta wear clothes. There we go.
Yeah.
For my muscle, you got to go with Colossus. He's the most like nicest guy, farmhand you'll ever meet. Soviet Russia. He's gonna knock down some doors for you, but you do it with a smile. For my healer, I went with Elixir. Because I feel like having a healer on this team is very important. Again, when you do humanitarian aid, you have to have somebody who's willing to, help out other people, and then he can still help out his team. I mean, obviously, Elixir has some moments of darkness to him, but I feel like for the most part, he's usually a golden boy, which is, the whole gold skin thing. It's this whole over heavy-handed metaphor for him. Yeah. So I feel like he's a really good pick for healer. So my other two, I actually, when I was originally thinking about this team, I actually did want Beast to be my leader. I thought he had I was surprised he's never really been a leader before. But then I was like, thinking about it, I just don't feel like he has the gumption to really pull that trigger if he needed to.
Yeah.
Like to make the really hard decisions if you had to sacrifice anybody. I don't think he'd really be able to. But I still feel like he's a really good person on the team to have because of his, again, diplomatic ties. He can deal with a lot of different people. And he has, the intelligence to give, really good input and whatnot. So then the last thing I was thinking about for my team to really balance it out, I was like, you have a good solid core, but I feel like there's not enough. Like when you're doing a lot of stuff, you need more hands, and I mean you can't. It's sometimes having a team of 20 people may be good, but I don't feel like it's good all the time. So I actually have multiple man on my team. Like I mean he's a bit of a wild card, but I feel like having the ability to go from 6 to suddenly 100 people would be really helpful for this team. It's very diverse. You can sacrifice a couple of his clones if you need to. You can have him spread out and do multiple tasks if you need him to. I feel like it's a very an ability that would really help out in multiple different situations. Again, the whole mental thing might be an issue, but I feel like Storm's strong enough to kind of control him.
Right.
So yeah, that's my mainstay X-Men team. What do you think?
I do, again, agree with it. A lot of them. I like the Pixie pick. That was a teleporter and a character just in general that I was looking at for exactly the same reason in the power sets, and for whatever reason, I ended up putting her off to the side.
Yeah.
Colossus is Colossus. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I thought about other younger X-Men to kind of step into that role, whether it was Rockslide or Onyx or somebody a little different. But I just again kept coming back to that trio that I just had to have on the X-Men. I've never been sold on Emma Frost.
No,
I feel like when Grant Morrison kind of went that direction, it was like Emma Frost now an X-Men. And Mystique can be an X-Men. I just kind of felt like it was like, okay, now you're taking characters that were, traditionally your wholesale, bad people, and you're just making them X-Men.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of felt to me like it just kicked the door open for anybody to be an X-Men.
Yeah.
And I've just never been a big fan of hers. I liked her as the villain, like I liked her part of the Hellfire Club. I was never ever sold on her as a part of that mainstay team, or even just any team of the X-Men.
Yeah, I definitely like most of the things I've read is post her being on the team, so I've never really had that whole villain Emma Frost, but I've just always appreciated her as being that person that goes like, oh darling, you're such an idiot, like I've always loved, like I've had the same thought before where it's like you don't really fit in this team, but then she'll say something snarky and I'm like, you know what, I'm sold.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I just love the whole power set too. Is just like the whole like I'm a telepath, but if I need to, I can diamond up and protect myself. That was the main reason to have her on our team. The snark is an added bonus.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like when it come back to Beast, like there's been, like I really wanted Beast on a team because I like the fact that he's got like he's kind of like he's got a little bit of Nightcrawler, that agility kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's got super strength. He can hold his own. Plus he's also the brains.
Yeah.
But to your point, never been a leader, and I don't think that's even in his wheelhouse.
No.
Like he's just too busy. Like, leading. I got to talk to people, but I'm doing science stuff.
Yeah.
But I think like what made me a huge fan of the Beast, and there's been a lot of different really cool kind of re-ups, like the Dark Beast.
Yeah.
Where he went there. One of my favorite was Sublime, when part of the story that was by Grant Morrison. Was called Here Comes Tomorrow, and he's actually white.
Oh, okay.
And it's set 150 years into the future, where he became the leader of the X-Men.
Okay.
And just the pressures of it just ruined him, and he's now like the worst bad guy you've ever seen. And it was like a 4-issue stint. They had great artist Mark Silvestri come in and do the art with Grant Morrison writing it. It was only 4 issues, and it was fantastic.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it. But to your point, just not a leader. Tried to find a place, and then I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna ban all the original X-Men out of here.
Make it easy.
Just go away. Go. That's it. But no, I mean, to your point, like the X-Men's that team that you want to look at and go, these guys are the heroes. And I don't think I look at that team that you put together and I go, any of these people are like the Wolverine, where it's like, oh, he's going to kill somebody.
Yeah.
These are heroes. Like, they're trying to be the Avengers. They're trying to be, they're trying to do the right thing, which I think was the whole idea of the original X-Men.
Yeah.
It was, we're superheroes, and we're trying to show you that us mutants can be, helpful and come in and save the day as well. So yeah. I like the mix of your team, because it kind of harkens back to that old, X-Men feel.
Yeah. Like you might hate us, but we're still going to help you type of situation.
Yeah. Exactly. And there's nobody on the team that I can look at, like, other than Emma Frost. There's nobody on the team that I can look at and go, I hate you.
Yeah.
Like, they're all, it's like, oh yeah, you're just lovable. I gotta agree with you on that.
For sure. So yeah, I think we actually have some pretty good teams. I feel like it's funny how we all 3 of our teams are very different, but we both agreed with each other's teams. Like, there wasn't a lot of like hole poking,
So I would like to pose something here.
Mm-hmm.
There was one team that I thought about, and it's just because I would love to see a comic book series of this, which would be the Weapon X.
Oh yeah.
But actual, like, you put Wolverine on the team, and I'm not talking about screw Sabretooth. You put Wolverine on the team, you put Maverick on that team, Phantom X on that team. You put the actual guys that were part of the Weapon X project on one team, and I think you actually almost have a more X-Force-y X-Force. But I would love to see it, because I love Maverick. I think he's a fantastic character. I enjoyed Phantom X. He was interesting.
I like Phantom X.
And to your point, Wolverine's just overkill on most X-Men teams. So go send him over there, and he can do that.
But
I do have one question for you.
Yeah.
One question for you. So these are our renditions of the X-Men. Looking back, what's your favorite X-Men team that obviously we didn't put together?
Yeah.
through the years, what's your favorite X-Men team that they did?
Oh,
What era?
man, that's tough. I think when it comes to composition and like it was a really good, like it had a lot of depth and a really good time. I actually really like Joss Whedon's X-Men team. I mean, I'm a big fan of Kitty Pryde. Having her and Colossus relationship was interesting.
Yeah.
Again, you had is that's a storyline where they had Beast devolve into an animal, or is that Grant Morrison?
Yeah, no. Well, he was. I think he was already there. I think that Grant Morrison was the one that made him more animal.
Yeah, and then I think Joss Whedon is the one that had him fully like even devolve even further. And then man, I gotta look up. The only downside is I'm pretty sure it has Colossus or Cyclops on it.
Yeah.
Which is like, again, I really do not care for Cyclops, but I feel like it's a pretty like iconic team.
Right.
Yeah. So you had Beast, Emma Frost, Cyclops, Wolverine, Kitty Pryde, and Colossus. So it has like, like 1, 2, 3 of my people I chose for my team. I mean, Wolverine's always great. Other than I feel like should be X-Force. I love Kitty Pryde. I feel like she is just hard to fit into a team because I feel like her power set is very limited, even though she has the whole like I can manipulate technology and whatnot. I feel like just phasing through things sometimes doesn't work all the time. And then again, Cyclops is the only one I'd really get rid of. Like replace him for Storm, and yeah, I just can't stand him. But like replace him for Storm, and I think that'd be a really good team. What's your favorite team?
I would have to say like I very much enjoyed the group when they brought in. Strangely enough, in the '60s, they brought in Polaris and Havoc.
Oh yeah,
they were a part of the X-Men team, but I have a toss up between obviously Chris Claremont's from the '70s with bringing in Wolverine, Banshee, Storm, Sunfire, Colossus, Thunderbird, and then still have a little bit of old school mix with Cyclops, Jean Grey, Polaris and Havoc were in the mix on that group as well.
Yeah,
it was just what I really appreciated about it the most with Claremont is he kind of almost went international with that. You had Sunfire, who was from Japan. You had Storm, who was from Africa. You had Banshee, who was Irish. You had Wolverine, who was Canadian. You had Nightcrawler. It was almost like the international X-Men.
Yeah.
It was a really well thought out X-Men team. But I would have to say it's really close between them and I would say the '90s X-Men. Basically, when X Factor and the X-Men kind of got together, kind of post Inferno, and decided, okay, we're going to split and make two teams, the blue team and the gold team.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Storm leading one, and they had Cyclops leading the other. But they would kind of mix every once in a while. But the teams were just interesting because they didn't pair the usuals up.
Yeah.
So you had on Cyclops' team, he had like Beast and Iceman, but then he also had like Colossus and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Storm was with Jean Grey.
Yeah.
And Archangel. Like it was just a same characters just mixed up on different teams.
Mm-hmm.
And of course at that time he also had the superstar artists coming in, like Silvestri was still kicking around a little bit. I think he was doing Wolverine at the time. You had Jim Lee. It was just such a fantastic time to be an X-Men fan, and one of my favorite teams because it just took all the great mainstay characters that you think of as X-Men and put them all under one huge team that was 2 comic books.
Yeah. So you kind of had 2 in 1.
Yeah,
that's good. So like we said in the beginning of this podcast, we kind of started this because they're creating a new X-Men team in the Krakoan era. Do you think it's going to be super basic, or do you think they're going to go a little bit crazy with it?
I don't know. I'm really curious because I think it's it's time probably for them to move on from some of your mainstays, and it'd be interesting to see some of these other younger X-Men like Armor. I know we had a discussion about that character. Some of these younger X-Men that have either been on Young X-Men or the New Mutants for a while, or even X-Force, like Generation X. Like I think it'd be very interesting to see Hope on a team.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if they do like a blend of like, here's some old mainstays that can kind of show the way, but here's the young group that they're kind of mentoring.
Yeah.
Or if they're just going to go, hey, it's a popularity contest, man. We got to have Wolverine on every team. So, you know, all those guys are on it. Or are they going to really change it up and just say, okay, this is the new generation of X-Men. Here's your new team, because they made that splash with the Claremont team. Like, that was not the X-Men.
No.
Like, when they threw that out there, that shook it up. And I think maybe it's time that they shook it up.
Yeah. And I mean, especially, I mean, one is Jonathan Hickman, and he does, you know, he does things that you think this could never work, and then it ends up working out, and it's really cool. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is you have this new era of X-Men. So I really feel like you need a new X-Men team to reflect that. Like, the fact that you have Apocalypse, Magneto, like all the evil guys on the island with you that are supposedly on your side as well, throw a couple of those guys in there. I think that'd be really cool. Like, could you imagine if like Sebastian Shaw's son was incorporated or something like that? Like, not Sebastian Shaw, but like one step down. I feel like those type of characters would be really cool, where it's like, you know, they're integrating with the good guys, and it's like, oh, you know, I'm kind of swaying you to my side, you're kind of swaying me to your side. It'd be a really cool dynamic they could play with.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of characters. I mean, the nice thing is that some of the characters that were on, like the New Mutants, or, you know, some of these other teams are currently on other teams.
Yeah.
So they've got a spot. So you have an opportunity to take some of these characters that are certainly a little less known. You know, they haven't even had a chance to maybe even develop all that much.
Yeah.
And throw them on the team. Like, there's always been some very intriguing characters that were in that kind of X-Men in training group. You know, whether it was Hellion or, you know, Rockslide or a Knoll or Gentle, or, you know, there's a whole bunch of characters that are there that you know, you have a tendency not to lean towards them because you just don't know really enough about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely felt like I was saying when we were talking about X-Men in the past, it felt like what am I trying to say? That the X-Men comics, when it comes to the teams and the variety of mutants, had been in a like stalemate for a long time. Mm-hmm. Where, like you said, it was just always Wolverine, it was always Cyclops, it was always Jean Grey. But then there was an era at one point where they literally just had like a bajillion different mutants and a bajillion different, you know, power sets that they kept playing with. Like, you had Grant Morrison, where you had Kid Omega and Beak and all these crazy people. And then even before that, like you were saying, you had the new X-Men, where it was like multiple teams competing at the school and whatnot. You had so many young people. And I feel like that's the eras I loved. And ever since M-Day, they haven't been able to go back to that physically because they have no mutants. But now that they've fixed that, you have such a great opportunity to either make new mutants or bring back fan favorites that haven't been touched in 20 years or anything like that. So I'm very excited to see. Unfortunately, we're not going to find out the official teams until June, which sucks. But these are the teams that we made up with. You never know. Maybe they'll listen to this podcast and just copy what we've done.
I would.
Exactly. I mean, I think I'm a genius. You know, why not? But yeah, we appreciate you guys listening to the podcast. Let us know what you think of our teams. Let us know who you think we missed out on. And make sure to follow us wherever you found us. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks again.